has been a symbol of justice for centuries. Yet he is as mortal as any man. He is a descendant of a legend that has endured for 20 generations. Yet his identity remains a secret. His power is legendary. But he is not supernatural. He has been known as the ghost who walks, the guardian of the dark, or simply the Phantom.
The Phantom is a 1996 superhero adventure film directed by Simon Wincer and written by Jeffrey Boehm. It is based on the comic strip of the same name created by Lee Falk. The film stars Billy Zane as Kit Walker, the 21st descendant in the line of masked vigilantes known as the Phantom, who battles a criminal organization seeking to harness the power of the mystical crystal skulls. The cast also includes Treat Williams, Christy Swanson, Catherine Zeta-Jones, James Remar, and Patrick McGowan. The film was released theatrically in the United States on June 7, 1996 by Paramount Pictures.
Adventure loves him. Evil hates him. And mystery surrounds him.
Rolling background! Action!
One of the world's classic action heroes is coming to the big screen in Paramount Pictures, The Phantom. The Phantom's journey has followed a fascinating path. From his comic strip creation to international fame to serial stardom in the 40s.
Sound the drums and tell all the jungle tribes the Phantom is still a man who never dies.
And now a major motion picture.
This thing is gonna rock you, it's gonna like freak you.
The legend of the Phantom lives on as he fights piracy, cruelty, and injustice.
He was a sort of original superhero. In terms of comics, he was probably the first.
Seeing the Phantom, just him in his costume and the white horse and the wolf and the skull cave, he's a total mystery.
This is the kind of film I always dreamt of being in when I watched film.
I love this!
What's that guy?
Somebody I already killed.
Well, guess what? He's back.
60 years after he was created, the Phantom is still the most widely read superhero comic strip in the world today. A character both unique and enduring. Translating the Phantom's ultimate adventure to the screen is director Simon Wincer of Free Willy and Lonesome Dove.
It's action adventure with a twinkle in the eye. The Phantom movie is really the originator of all those kind of cliffhanger serials and the kind of comic that inspired the Indiana Jones movies.
Looks like I got a plane to catch.
Starring as the Phantom and his alter ego Kit Walker is Billy Zane.
It's a very uncommon hero. The Phantom has no superpowers. He is quite human and does bleed, but he loves what he does. He really genuinely likes it.
Screenwriter Jeffrey Boehm of the Lethal Weapon series and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was attracted to the essence of this character.
He's a classic. Like Batman and Superman, it stood the test of time. The Phantom is an old-fashioned comic book hero. He gets by on his wits and his wiles, his physical ability. And I think there's a nice element of fantasy here because he lives in a fictitious jungle. He rides a white horse. He has animals for friends.
Watch him, devil. He moves. Eat him.
The true inspiration for this movie came from the very first Phantom comic, which introduced the character, introduced his world, and was set in the 30s.
The Phantom was among the first comic strip heroes, predating Superman and Batman. He was created in 1935 by Lee Falk, who was inspired by the heroes of classic mythology.
As a boy, I loved the stories of gods and heroes. Greek, Roman, Indian, Scandinavian. And the Phantom came out of all that. He's a very physical man. He's very strong. And he follows the oath to combat piracy, cruelty, and injustice.
The legend began 400 years ago when a small boy witnessed his father's savage murder at sea by pirates. Washed ashore near the Bengala jungle, the boy was raised by natives and swore an oath to fight for justice. That boy became the first Phantom, creating a sacred tradition passed down from father to son over 20 generations.
According to legend, he's immortal. Been around for 4 centuries.
Believing the Phantom to have survived the centuries unchanged, he was dubbed the Ghost Who Walks.
I've done 1,000 stories of the Phantom over a period of 60 years. It's in 500 or 600 papers around the world. There are about 25 languages. And it has a daily readership, which amazes me, of 100 million people every day.
In these unexplored jungles live the native tribes who for generations have been ruled by a great leader, the Phantom, the Ghost Who Walks.
He's very brave and strong.
In the 1940s, the Phantom inspired a movie serial starring Tom Tyler.
No, don't kill him. Moko used fun to hit arrows, see?
In these adventures, the Phantom confronted a number of villains and cliffhanger endings. The challenge for the filmmakers of this latest Phantom was to recapture the magic of the original comic strip.
Good, okay, print that.
A key aspect involved casting the right lead actor. For Billy Zane, destiny played a role.
If I told you, you wouldn't believe me. Phantom is the only comic I ever collected. I read my first, and I collected late, you know. As an adult, I got into him. And I think if there was one role I was ready to play, it was this one.
It's pretty hard to imagine anyone else as the Phantom just because he looks so like the character, and he's worked really hard to get himself in the right physical shape, and you need to be in great shape to even dare to put on the costume.
The physical aspects of the character appealed to Zane. He spent more than a year preparing to play the role.
I studied the cat-like movements and the comics themselves, you know, which have very distinct poses, just really great lines, and I tried to put as much of that body language into the film.
You've got something that belongs to me.
His physical regimen included 2 to 3 hours a day of weight training and aerobics, plus some more unconventional methods.
The iron ball is an ancient Chinese secret. It's like a shot put, basically, that if you're doing a strike or a hook, it forces you to use your hips to support the ball and keep your balance moving in a very fluid motion. It's adding definitely a degree of confidence, you know, for one, the stamina that's going to be required. You know, leaping bushes, leaping into saddles, you know, over rocks, you know, doing definitely some hair-raising stuff.
The Phantom must rely on his physical prowess to battle the villains, along with the knowledge passed down by generations of Phantoms. Living up to his heritage is a daunting task.
Got big boots to fill, because like 20 Phantoms came before him. And what's interesting about this particular tale is, you know, this 21st Phantom has to prove his mettle, has to prove himself to the ghost of his dead father.
You turned over one of the skulls of Tuganda to the same Brotherhood. Have you any idea what it means if the Brotherhood gets control of the skulls?
They'd be invincible.
And stop them. You're the only one who can.
The skull of Tuganda.
The Phantom's nemesis is the evil Drax, played by Treat Williams.
Drax, he's on this mission to find this skull of Tuganda, which once these 3 skulls are combined will give him absolute power.
121E, take 1.
Action! It's happening right here and now! Show me the power! Show me the power!
he would do bad things with it, the Phantom would do good things with it. And the fun thing is that it's an adventure for the villains as well as the heroes.
This is the chance of a lifetime. Where's your spirit of adventure?
The thing about Drax that's interesting is I think he has this elegance and charm. I think there's a kitchen sink quality to this guy. I've got Howard Hughes and Cary Grant and Clark Gable and everybody else who wore a mustache and had some style. It's been a great deal of fun.
Oh, it is beautiful.
I used a little toothpaste on it. It polished up so good.
Drax's key ally and femme fatale is the provocative Sala, played by Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Sala's part of Drax's team. She's the pilot, and she's adventure-seeking, highly sexually charged, I think. I bet you're better than good.
There's an old jungle saying, never point a gun at someone because it just might go off.
Clasped hands. I like that in a man. I mean, she's after men. Sex.
Tie her up.
I've played a lot of goody-goodies, so this is a nice change to be able to have some fun and to, to play the period as well, to play 1930s New York. I mean, just the scale of the production was awesome.
The action of this story brings the Phantom and his alter ego, Kit Walker, to the streets of 1930s New York. To transport the audience back in time, the filmmakers recreated Manhattan on a massive scale.
This movie has been an extraordinary experience for me. I grew up watching those period films late at night when I was a kid. And it's almost as if I'm able to go back in time and be in one. The sets are enormous. We got to New York Street. We had 200 vintage automobiles with hundreds of extras. And that's seldom done anymore. And it's been very exciting.
I'm going with you.
Diana.
Where to now, sir?
Museum of World History.
Oh, you heard the lady.
The key woman in Kit Walker's life is Diana Palmer, a socialite played by Christy Swanson.
Let's go.
Not so fast. Why should I go with you?
Trust me, Diana.
Diana Palmer, she's just very feisty, and she wants to go out there and experience life and have adventure.
Get ready.
Get ready! I think she's attracted to the mystery of it all. Here's this man who's big and strong, and he looks very good in his purple tights, so... but what woman wouldn't be attracted to that?
This is a rescue.
Thanks. You've done a good job. I can take it from here.
When Diana was created in the original comic strip, she was a liberated woman ahead of her time. Not only was she intelligent, but she was also a world-class athlete.
She's a boxer back in college, and so they're tying some of that into this story. It makes it a lot of fun. I get to do a lot of fun fighting scenes. I was throwing some punches.
One of the film's key action sequences takes place in the heart of city traffic at night, when the Phantom finds himself in hot pursuit.
We're doing horseback chases through traffic and jumping along taxis in Manhattan rush hour 1936.
The police are after the Phantom, and he has to make his escape across a busy Fifth Avenue and jumps from rooftop to rooftop of cars and eventually ends up stealing a policeman's horse and galloping off down the street through traffic.
Once he's on board, the challenge of coordinating this difficult stunt was given to stunt expert Billy Burton.
What I'm trying to do is take this guy out of the jungle, put him in the city, and let him use the jungle instincts to get him about town. I leaped in on this car, to a roof, to a horse.
Miniature cars were used to block out the stunt. The risks were high, and timing was everything. One slip could mean disaster.
Okay, guys, this is it. This is the safety meeting, okay?
You've all seen it. We've rehearsed it. Main thing is if the kid slips and falls, you don't run him over.
If there's any question, don't go for it. Just freeze on the car you're on.
Guys, mount up. Let's try it.
This will be picture. Let's make ready for picture, please. Let's start the bike. Ready and rolling. Cars go. Cars go. 132 or Apple, take 2. Action!
amazing thing I've ever seen. It had that scale of kind of fantastical magic that, Hollywood can produce.
The chase to find the powerful skulls brings the Phantom to the other side of the world.
We really wanted a fantastic contrast to the busy streets of New York where the rest of the story takes place. And Thailand is a very exotic country. It's got a stunning landscape. And also there's a great sense of mystery about the place. Mountains shrouded in mist and water's a most brilliant blue color. And so it helps create this really extraordinary world that the Phantom comes from.
Thailand is a wonderful place to film and has some of the most gorgeous scenery I've ever seen, but the weather hasn't cooperated too much. We're a month into the dry season now, but the dry part of the dry season hasn't shown up.
The biggest challenge was the weather. We shot my last movie down here, and we didn't have one day of rain. And the first 23 days shooting Phantom, we had 23 days of rain. Day after day you get grey skies, and then down the rain comes, and it affects lots of things. You can't gallop horses fast over muddy ground, you can't drive trucks fast, so you're continually not being able to finish scenes.
The stunt vehicles were constantly getting stuck in the muddy lowlands. And the roads to the mountain locations were nearly impassable. Finding a way through the mud required improvising miles of their own wooden road. To reach the most remote locations, the filmmakers had to trek through the dense jungle on foot.
If you want the film to look different, then you have to go to remote places where everything has to be lugged in by hand. It's not like making a little intimate studio film. It's a big sort of military operation. And how we got out of there alive is beyond belief, but somehow we did.
One of the key jungle locations is the Phantom's mythical Skull Cave.
The Skull Cave is the headquarters of the Phantom. It's like the Bat Cave,
which of course Batman stole.
And the amount of detail is extraordinary. It has a radio room. It has a chronicle room where the past 400 years of Phantoms, all their adventures are chronicled. Then it has a treasure room and a skull throne where the Phantom rules from.
He's got a swinging pad. The Phantom setup is pretty tricked out. There's lots of interesting touches like Moroccan rugs and Tibetan tables and goblets and a cool fireplace.
Everything's there that he needs. He's got a nice bed and all these things. He has a cushy pad, definitely.
It's very imaginative, and it's kind of that boy's adventure stuff. And it has a certain romance about it, too.
I actually got to live a fantasy. We were on this gorgeous beach in Thailand, white sand and crystal blue water, and we got to do this running shot, and we just took off in a full gallop and riding in the water, splashing. I was laughing and I was just having the time of my life. It was so much fun.
Capturing the visual splendor of the coastline led the filmmakers to remote islands offshore, where the intricate limestone caves provided an additional backdrop to the action. But filming these sequences on the water presented its own difficulties.
The biggest problem on this production has been to coordinate the marine unit with the aerial unit with the ground unit. We go by land, by air, and by sea on this movie, and it's been really difficult.
As difficult as these scenes were for the filmmakers, it was Billy Zane who would have to physically put himself on the line.
I wonder how many frequent flyer miles you get for riding on a pontoon on the outside of a seaplane.
While pursuing the villains in his jungle homeland, the Phantom must enlist the aid of his animal allies.
He has a white horse, his faithful steed named Hero.
Hero was played by a Spanish Andalusian horse, renowned for its strength and intelligence. But Hero is not the Phantom's only animal sidekick.
The Phantom has a wolf named Devil. They have a really kind of savvy rapport with each other and always coming to his aid when he needs it.
Good boy, Devil.
Your dog's a wolf.
Devil is played by a full-grown timber wolf, but unlike a dog, a trained wolf remains a wild animal.
Aggression from a wolf is possession. I've got his bone. He wants it.
The wolf was trained to go from point A to point B and rewarded with food. The key was to create as few distractions as possible.
I was okay with the wolf. The only time that I was afraid was when we're galloping on a horse, the wolf is following us from behind. And if something gets in its way from here to there, like me, if I fall, it was just a concern.
The Phantom's sidekicks were not the only animals to be found on the set. In fact, it was the local wildlife that would pose the greatest danger to cast and crew.
Don't ever try this at home, okay? We found a really big, large Asian scorpion, which they pack quite a wallop. If you get stung on the hand, it paralyzes the arm for about 24 hours. Wow! It's a Malaysian pit viper. And we adjusted one of the logs so we could get a camera next to it. And there's this Malaysian pit viper on there. Real chunky guy that eaten a large frog. And they're very poisonous. Got some nice fangs on him. That'll get your attention.
Action!
Filming the Phantom's most dangerous encounters required a team of the world's best stuntmen who created some of the most incredible action sequences ever captured on film.
What's really great about this film is it's really full on. There's some great transfers from airplanes to horseback. And there's the great sequence of the truck.
You must have hit him.
I'm trying to rescue the skull and discover there's a young boy who was shanghaied into driving this vehicle across this precarious rope bridge.
The guy driving the truck kicks him out of the truck, and Phantom manages to grab onto the door just as the truck rolls onto the bridge.
I'm dangling from a door of this many 100-foot gorge. I climb into the truck to find him, and the whole thing goes like haywire, and ropes snap and vines break, and the thing just starts to rotate.
It turns upside down, and the truck becomes entwined and just suspended by the vines of this bridge.
Now I'm trapped in the back with the kid. It's pretty perilous.
It's a very involved sequence. The special effects involved in tipping this bridge over, the engineering involved was enormous.
The bridge was constructed from the ground up over a rock quarry deep in the Thai jungle. It measured 150 feet across and was suspended 60 feet above the ground by 4 reinforced steel cables. 250 tons of steel and concrete anchored the bridge, while a cable and winch system would both move the truck into position and support it while upside down. Buried underground were the hydraulics that would cause the bridge to tip over.
They've never done anything like this before in the movie business. They've built a couple suspension bridges that I'm aware of, and none of them have ever been set up like this to flip upside down 180 degrees with a truck on it. So it's one of a kind thing.
And bridge!
The Phantom is actually hanging off the door of this truck on the bridge 50 to 75 feet off the ground. I mean, it was very scary. If you fell off the bridge, you would be dead.
That's a cut. That's a cut. Good work, guys. Very good.
They built an incredible bridge, but the gorge was only 50 feet deep, and Simon wanted the gorge to be more in the order of several hundred feet deep. So I knew that we were going to have to extend the sides of the canyon and make the gorge 3 or 4 times deeper than it really was.
To accomplish this, the effects team filmed a 750-foot deep gorge in Northern California, which they would combine with the original footage from Thailand.
We were really lucky when we shot this. It had just rained the night before and the river was really full, so we got some really good whitewater here, which is exactly what we wanted for the shot. And we rotated it and fit it into the bottom of our canyon and put that in. Was kind of like the final touch. Simon had seen the shot without this river in here, and when we put that in, it really sold him.
It's pretty perilous. It's like, it wasn't a good day unless there was an ice pack present, you know what I mean?
With incredible stunts, spectacular locations, and a unique superhero, the ghost who walks truly comes to life in The Phantom.
It's been very exciting to see my people come to life. These are all marvelous actors, and finding an actor like Billy Zane to play the Phantom is wonderful.
It's the kid's fantasy. This was like, we're making movies. This is a movie.
All right, gentlemen, nobody...
Kindly pardon my error. I guess not.
Comedy, action, adventure. It's just a really exciting film.
And now it's time for an exclusive with Billy Zane and Christy Swanson of The Phantom.
Working with the animals in the movie was very interesting.
The animals were really cool.
We had snakes, we had rats, we had spiders, we had lions, we had tigers, we had horses.
He has a white horse, his faithful steed named Hero. We had a real nice relationship. They were really well trained.
I worked with a wolf.
By no means the family dog. It had to be treated very delicately.
At one point in the movie, had the wolf tugging at my arm by the sleeve of my shirt, which was a little nerve-wracking. I wasn't really comfortable with it at first, but once I got to know the wolf and we just practiced it over and over again.
A ferocious animal being your best friend, it felt important and a little scary.
Paramount Pictures' The Phantom, coming this Friday to a theater near you.
Give Alan Ladd too. Oh.
Gorgeous. Story is set in the 30s. She's almost written like a woman in the 90s. She's very independent, really can take care of herself, and she's a young anthropologist. Hello.
Hi, Christy.
Hi.
Ellie from Reuters.
Hello.
Television.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Tell us, how can a woman fall in love with a masked man?
How can a woman fall in love? Well, I think it makes him very mysterious having a mask on. I think that's probably one of the reasons why she's attracted to him. And that's how.
And does he have some other qualities that would stick out?
Well, the Phantom is, he's very strong, and he's a good guy. He fights off evil, and he's got a good sense of humor, and he's just a great all-around guy, and he looks really good in purple.
And we're told that this is a timeless movie, but what makes it appropriate for the 90s?
I don't know. I mean, it's set in the 30s, and for instance, my character is kind of like, even though it's set in the 30s, she's written like she's a woman of the 90s because she's very, she's very independent and can take care of herself, kind of a, personality and everything, which, she's kind of ahead of her time for the 1930s.
It's usually boys who are comic strip aficionados. Were you as a girl?
No, I wasn't. I didn't know about the Phantom until I got involved in the project, and I didn't read comic strips when I was a kid. But my superhero was Pippi Longstocking. That was my superhero. Even though she wasn't a comic strip, but she was my favorite. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Hey, Alan. Hi. Sure.
film received mixed reviews from critics and underperformed at the box office, grossing $23 million worldwide on a production budget of $45 million.
You better have a look.
Well, somebody say something.
You're mixed up with the same Brotherhood, Diane.
That's Billy Zane playing the title role in The Phantom, the new movie based on the popular comic strip that apparently has been going strong for 60 years. But on screen, the sight of a guy wearing a purple bodysuit in the middle of a jungle, or even on the outskirts of the jungle, does stretch credibility. And credibility isn't helped by Billy Zane's performance and manner.
Hold that car. Oh, yeah. Take my money, but don't hurt me. Al, take it easy. I'm a friend of Kid Walker's. I need your help. No.
Hey, you! Come back
here! His assignment in The Phantom is to prevent an assortment of bad guys from collecting a set of 3 magical skulls, one of silver, one of gold, and one of jade, and thereby harnessing power to rule the world.
Phantom!
And here's another power-hungry bad guy, a guy named Drax, played very well by Treat Williams. In fact, the villains in The Phantom are far more enjoyable than the Phantom himself.
Show me the power! Show me the power! Yes!
The Phantom is another action picture I'm giving a mixed review to, and I've already outlined my split opinion. Hated The Phantom, laughed at The Phantom, but I like Treat Williams in some of the action scenes. The direction of my thumb is down because of the bottom line. I'm not interested in seeing the further adventures of the Phantom.
Oh, Gene, I really love this movie, and I like the way the Phantom looks. The Phantom was created in 1936. He is the first of the comic book superheroes.
Right.
And I think it was very brave of them to keep the look of that 1930 strip instead of trying to modernize like they did with Batman. I mean, Batman's uniform, it looks like he's living inside a tire. You know, this, the whole klutziness of the fact that the Phantom, when he lands on a truck, he really lands. He's not, doesn't have cat-like grace, is part of the charm of this movie and the look of the film. I mean, I would recommend to people that if they want to completely forget everything about the plot and everything about the story,
which wouldn't be a bad idea.
This movie is worth seeing for the production design by Paul Peters. This is one of the greatest looking movies I've ever seen. The colors, the interiors.
The interior of the Skull Cave is very well
what about
done.
Drax's office in New York?
That looks
fabulous.
Good, but
it's a good-looking movie.
Did you find the Phantom someone that you cared about the least? Really?
I found the Phantom very amusing. I liked the way what Billy Zane did with that. Instead of standing around like some kind of a stick, to give the guy...
I think he's very stiff.
No, to give the guy a personality, a wry humor, an edge.
I don't think he has a wry humor.
Quality of kidding himself a little bit. There's a lot going on there.
I think he's quite stiff, Roger, and that's where my problem was. Every time I saw him...
Well, okay, Gene, I just want to get the bottom line out. It's PG rated. I think it's terrific. They didn't load it up with a lot of extra violence. It's a great family picture, and I just loved looking at it.
Yeah, well, I liked looking at parts of it, the parts when he wasn't on the screen, the Phantom. When we
The Phantom playsets, produced by Street Players Holding Corp., were licensed and manufactured in 1995. However, they weren't available for purchase until the Phantom movie was released on the 7th of June, 1996.
There are some who say he's only a myth. Soon they will discover the Phantom is real. It's unanimous. Critics nationwide love the Phantom. And you'll love it too, as this $17 million box office smash arrives on home video as November's #1 rental title. This year marks the 60th anniversary of this worldwide popular action hero, with the Phantom comic strip appearing in over 500 newspapers and 40 countries. The Masked Avenger is everywhere, and we'll be celebrating this 1996 theatrical release with spectacular one-of-a-kind double-image lenticular packaging, sure to attract customers and is sure to stay.
Despite its commercial failure, The Phantom later found success on home media and developed a cult following due to its nostalgic tone, period setting, and stylized homage to the classic adventure serials.
And coming soon from Paramount Home Video, The Phantom, slamming evil on videocassette, November 19th.
Just take a look around. Darkness rules the earth.
In a dangerous world.
Governments crumble. Chaos reigns.
In a treacherous time.
There is opportunity in chaos.
Evil is a fact.
We shall succeed where they have failed.
Drax is on a quest for a supernatural power. They know far too much.
And courage.
Stop them. You're the only one who can.
Is a phantom.
Who was that guy?
Somebody I already killed. There are some who say he is only a myth. Soon they will discover the Phantom is real.